0. Woohoo! We're like,
how are y'all doing? Good to see y'all. Good to see y'all. Hey, happy holidays.
oh my goodness, it's holiday season.
Dance a little
Were
bit.
did you just play holiday
How are y'all
music?
doing tonight? Thank you, everybody. Thank y'all so much for watching. Thank y'all for coming into the room early. I'm JC with Asylum Life, and this is my good friend,
I'm
my
Courtney with
sister from
Filament
another
Stories.
mister.
Although it says Clockspring3D
Awesome.
tonight,
Hey,
right?
it does. I
You
think
say
it does. You
Clockspring
know what?
too
Hold
on
on a
your
sec.
shirt. What?
Yeah, I do. So, so should we let everybody know? Should we let everybody see my friend on the other end of the world, Mr. Clockspring? Mr. Clockspring, come on in. What's up?
Giving you a round
How's
of
it going?
applause. Are you just rearranged the windows? Now I'm confused.
I'm rearranging. Order of importance.
Hey, Bob Carnes. Oh my gosh, Bob Carnes. I think you were in first, right? Wait, what? Oh,
Bob Carnes was in here. Renato was in here. Or Renato was in here. We had ATR.
Oh, Renato. Yeah.
So we had a lot of people
Clockspring.
in there.
How are you?
Awesome, Clockspring. How are you?
Can you hear us?
Oh, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Good.
Yeah.
Yes,
I keep saying,
you froze there.
Years of constant, calls and things, and it's still like, can you hear me? I can hear you. Yeah. Are you sharing? Are you talking? I can't see your screen.
You'd think we'd have it worked out by now, wouldn't you?
This is the work day for you, isn't it? Is it middle of Monday?
Yes, middle of Monday. I'm in the future. I can tell you that Monday works out pretty well. Yeah. You look forward to it.
Awesome.
Wait a minute.
All right. Well, hey.
Hold on. Did you not get the memo? We're wearing Clockspring shirts today.
I gave all my Clockspring shirts to Pooch in Maryland.
So I saw Pooch at Formneck, and I told him that I was a little disappointed because he never asked me to take off my shirt for him.
Well, I'm feeling.
He wanted you to take off. Yeah, so the story was Pooch wanted a Clockspring shirt, and you said the only one I have is the one I'm wearing. And didn't he say, that's fine, I'll take it?
Let's go with that. That's much better than the real story. That is now the official version.
That's funny. Well, hey, chat room, how are y'all doing tonight? Excited to see all of y'all here. Thank y'all for coming in and hanging out with us tonight. A bunch of people were in early tonight. I'm definitely excited to see that. I think that means people are excited to see the show. So we are very, very excited to have Clockspring. I mean, he's why everybody's here, right? I'm over here. Yeah. Y'all, you, Courtney, and you, Sven, y'all go ahead and y'all do the show without me.
So did we plan anything? Do we have anything planned? Questions?
Oh, we have all sorts of questions planned, but you know what my first question always is, right? My first question is what? Yeah.
What are you drinking?
What gastronomic pleasures are you anticipating to partake of this evening?
Now, thing is, I do actually have an Asylum Stories, Asylum Life, I should say, coffee mug, but it got stolen because it's a really big one. So I'm using a boring coffee mug, but it still has coffee in it. And as for eating, I should point out, it's AM here, but that assumes that I wouldn't be drinking that at night anyway, which I also would. But I'm also eating coffee beans covered in chocolate, which I hadn't actually had before. It turns out they're really good. But apparently you don't eat a whole jar at a time. That's bad.
You what?
No.
Apparently they have quite a kick. So, but
they're good.
Yeah,
but you don't eat them like, jelly beans.
No. Which I also
definitely not.
I don't have any of those.
Definitely. Well, Courtney, what do you got? What do you got for us this evening?
I think Robin's Assassin says, long time Clockspring subscriber. Yay. Same here. I like to call it like Clockspring addict because you come out with new models and I'm like, new model. New model.
Print.
Yeah.
Production shuts down. All printers are working on Clockspring.
Yep. So I am drinking, I am drinking tea because I was cold and I was working at my computer, but very unexciting. I'm drinking kombucha, and I'm drinking holiday cheer kombucha.
What flavor is holiday cheer? Like, how would you characterize that?
It's bubbly probiotic. I was wondering that. Okay. I see allspice vanilla.
Let us know.
Sweet cacao.
Allspice, of course.
Yeah, allspice. And your body will thank you.
Yes.
All right. What about you?
So chocolate and allspice.
Mm-hmm.
What about me? I have the nicest box wine money can buy. And then, yeah, I'm not going to show you what my glass says, though, because I probably couldn't say it on YouTube. But that's me tonight, box wine. I'm finishing out the Thanksgiving holiday.
Say it's a Filament Stories wine glass or something instead.
I know, we need those. We need Filament
Stories. New line of merch coming soon. You have lots of merch, Courtney.
How could we make
but
that?
You need more.
Yeah. We could put that on the store. Okay. So, but we have like, who we're going to ask him a question. Bought so much filament. Oh my gosh.
I know, right? I know, right? Black Friday. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. So first, what I have to explain, and I'm going to jump the screens around and everything a little bit like I usually do. But first, I need to explain the rules, because we always have rules here because we try to stay within time, even with Clockspring here.
Because we discovered that if we don't, we're like 3 hours later, we're like, whoa, where did the time go? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, very much so. Each topic, we get 10 minutes, and then all three of us have 1 5-minute vote to extend the topic. Now, tonight's going to be a little bit different in that our second topic is actually going to be 20 minutes long, because we're going to be talking to Clockspring and trying to find out everything we can about him.
Yeah, and especially if you guys have questions. Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll get into the questions from you guys a little bit later. We'll kind of talk about, we're going to do something a little bit different tonight. But the first topic we were going to talk about tonight is actually the Filament Stories website.
Oh, right, wait, Courtney? Is that a go? Or is that?
Now we go. All right. So
okay, do you have visual? Do you have a visual demonstration for this?
I do. I will get that visual up, and we will get this up and rolling. Oh, I got to expand and not show my script. Look at that. There we go.
Okay, so can I do quick, just like a rundown? And that's that I wanted to have a website for Filament Stories for like a long time, and it was something that really got put on the back burner. And I have to thank Asylum because he made this possible. But we're trying to expand functionality. But you have some updates. Wait, there's Clockspring.
I'm not the website.
You keep going. You go. I have to use this back end the way they ask me to use this back end. It's really weird.
Okay. So this is StreamYard. We're trying to figure out StreamYard. Okay. So yeah. So originally my main goal, among, I guess, a bunch of these, but my main goal was like, I was collecting all of these filament companies, and I was like, wouldn't it be great if we could have a location that anyone from anywhere around the world could come and say, hey, I'm interested in filament. Where is filament sold in my geography that is maybe more so if you're in the US than just Amazon? Because that's what I find a lot of people when they get started in 3D printing, they go to Amazon, they look up PLA, for instance, and they are hit with the most common brands. And there's nothing wrong with those brands. Those brands are great, but I like variety. So I want to try new things. And so that was sort of the goal here, is to see what we could do. And this has been a community, a project, because I started with a bunch, but then you all have submitted a whole bunch, and we've found from those, it's like you go down like a rabbit hole, right? Because you find one, and then those companies have partners, and you're like, I've never heard of that. And so I get stuck in there. But I think we have over 800 links. Now that's not 800 companies, because for instance, we have at Amazon for some of these companies, but they also have a main website. But I'm going to go to probably Amazon to buy inland, because I don't have a storefront that I can get it from here. So we have some of that, and we're working on ways that we can maybe someday combine that. The other thing is we have people from all over the world. And even though about 50% of our audience is from the US, I'm really excited that 50% is not. And so we have a lot of companies from all over the world, and I want to be sure that we can provide reasonable functionality for other people so that they can see companies in their geography. Clockspring, you have said you've actually used this site, right?
I was going to say, you tend to tell me about the people that are local to me. So, because how else would I know?
Well, and that's the thing that we're having to make some judgment calls on. And right now, the granularity that we have is by country. So Australia is a big country. And so unfortunately, if they don't have free shipping because it's the other side of Australia from you, we're not like, we don't have it down to the states in the United States. And usually that's because it's either you're paying for shipping or you hit a price point and it's free. So we've kind of gone with country is our granularity at this point. And we've tried to make it very simple. And there's still a blank one at the top. I messed up something. Is that Asylum? I know you were working on that, but yeah, you can sort this by, the blank one at the top. I entered something and made a mistake. So yeah, you can sort by country. Yeah. You also can sort by a few other things, like if you were interested in if they have recycled filament or if they have subscription plans, you can search for something and see if it exists there. If there's something and you see that we're missing them, let us know. There's a form at the top that you can just submit it, and it comes by email, and we will fill that in and try to add it in. There are a lot of big, not like Alibaba, but there are a lot for some countries. There's some big, what do you call them, warehouse things, but that's because it are valid places to find filament. So I sort of we're trying to say if it's not a reseller, you can go for brand. In any case, that's what hopefully, if you're looking for something and you're in the US maybe, and you're like, I want to see what else there is in the US, come here and look and see what there is and try it out. In any case, that's the filament companies. If you've seen any of our videos, we also have on there, every video, we have links to everything. And that's because some of the platforms allow you to have one and only one link, and like TikTok and Instagram. And so for us to link filament and products or anything else, we need to have that. So that's sort of our link tree. Now, other than that, the new thing is, well, you tell me what you want to do next, Asylum.
Well, I'm going to interrupt and say
that's fine. I mean, so
I was going to say, hold still, because you're not refreshing quickly, because that's like fuzzy.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm going to stay still.
Okay.
I'm just going to talk back here, because I mean, one of the things about Filament Stories website, one of the things that you tried to talk to me about. Yeah, that you tried to make sure that I knew that you wanted to do. You always talked about, I want to connect 3D printers to filament and filament companies to makers. And that was really the main goal. And so one of the things, as we've gone through and looked at the filament companies, we've realized that, there is kind of this gap missing of where to find good filament at good prices sometimes, especially during the holidays when a lot of sales are running. And this is that time of year. So Courtney came up with the idea of what we're calling discounts. And I'll let Courtney speak to that a little bit more.
Yes, sales is sort of tricky because we're trying to use we're going to do deals and discounts, which basically means sales. Now, this is not something that's not been done before. This is done on like countless discords, right? Every discord that I'm a member of, people are posting, here are sales and deals. So this is really a question of, will it work? And it's a matter of, is this a resource that people are coming to? It's very straightforward. It's all driven by us submitting things. Amelin has a sale. There's a forum, you put it, it's really easy. What is it? Amelin discount on whatever, Amelin discount for Black Friday. You get a link. If there's a code, you give the code. And the last thing is you need to do a geography, because people in Tanzania should be able to list that it's Tanzania. So it's a really straightforward. And we have listed the geographies here really granular, because at this point, before we put any development into this, we just need to find out if this is something that we can get enough excitement behind. Because if 5 of us do it, that's great. We'll share each other's 5. But there is, like I said, there is ways that this is done in other locations. Could we find some way to sort of combine it, right? Combine it. Ooh.
Right.
Hold
on. And the whole idea was to find just kind of a nice place where people are coming to look for filament here anyway. And this database isn't about printers. It's not about tools. It's about filament. Right. And so if you find a filament that there's a discount on, or there's a sale, or there's a special deal or something, this is a really good place to come and post that. And then this is even a place for people on the Discords to find it and, take it other places. We just wanted to kind of create a central place. Right, exactly. Yeah. And so we wanted... Go ahead.
Oh, no, sorry, go ahead. Well, it could be filament. Again, we're trying to be focused on filament and filament related stuff. So behind the scenes, in case someone submits something that takes you to a not safe for work site, we have to approve these. So everything that comes in, our team is going to look at it quickly and go, oh, yeah, that's a good link, and approve it. But if it's something that's filament related, we'll approve it. If it's a deal on Soval, the latest Soval printer will say, hey, there are other spots for that. But yeah, we're trying to be focused. Like, for instance, the filament database, it's not filament. It's just filament companies, right? Because there's way too many filament. There's no way you can tackle that, because I can't even keep track of which filaments of mine are still in production. And so I'll get ready to make a video, and I'll print something, and I'll go make a video, and I'll be like, they're not selling it anymore. It was like 3 months ago. So, but in this case, sales, we wanted to do something that's easy, and it'll show and it'll time out. And did we decide 2 weeks?
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks. So it might be a Black Friday sale. I was talking to Greengate3D the other day, and his sale was not going to go for 2 weeks. And he was like, well, do I need to change it? And I was like, you know what? No, if it times out, that's okay. That's going to happen. If that's too long, we'll drop it to 1 week. But this is someplace that companies could go in as well. There's no reason a company can't put, like, we were like, is it going to get spammed? If a company wants to say they have a sale, that's wonderful. The only thing that we would watch is, how sometimes companies have perpetual sales. That's kind of weird. But other than that, no. So I interrupted you and didn't let you talk, JC. I'm Asylum. Sorry, I know you as JC as well.
No, that's fine.
So go ahead.
It's all good. It's all good. But no, and so I just wanted to emphasize that this is a community-driven website. The only way anybody makes money off of this is because of affiliate links, and there are some affiliate links in there. We're not going to try and hide that fact or anything, but everybody from the community can come here and can submit to both of these databases. Like she said, there will be an approval process, but we just wanted to make this a place where people can find things on Filament.
You just said something about affiliate links. If someone submits it and it's their affiliate link, we don't really care, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Nope.
I mean, if you found a deal from a company and it's your affiliate link, that's fine, right? 3 seconds. Sorry.
Yeah.
But you had a good point. We'll go over for just a second. We don't need 5 minutes, but we're just trying to do this because we love it. But hey, if you've got an affiliate link, send it in. Okay.
Definitely.
Is that enough? More on that later.
That's plenty. I think that's plenty. Unless Clockspring wants to chime in. What's Clockspring?
I thought I just had more coffee delivery. No, I was just going to say, somebody said in the chat that it'd be good if it said where filament was made, which is a really interesting question. I was on the 1440 Makers panel last weekend, and we were trying to work out like who the Australian filament companies were, but more pertinently, which ones are actually manufactured in Australia. And it's really hard to know where the manufacturing is actually taking place. Does somebody have a filament line there that they're using, or are they having it manufactured overseas and shipped in or whatever? And I don't know how you reliably determine that.
And
but it would be really nice to know.
And companies are a little bit cagey about that. They don't want to say. Sometimes people can tell if they know what's going on. I know one filament company that it is made in the U.S., but they have 4 different manufacturers making their filament.
Right. Exactly.
So it is really interesting.
And I imagine
that can change from thing to thing.
But that's a question that, I would, like you said, I would love to have like a side group talk about that. I talk about that all day long, and we all take notes.
Yeah.
But one thing I never really Yeah. When I talk about filament to people, I know you guys who are here probably know a heck of a lot more than most people. When I'm presenting a filament on Filament Stories, I'm presenting it as that brand and not going into that because it's a deep dive, as you all know. But yeah, behind the scenes, sometimes we should get together and have a. I like this. Okay, sorry.
Oh yeah.
I talked.
Guys, no, thank you. If y'all yeah, if y'all have any ideas, guys, y'all kind of saw what we've been developing. If you have any thoughts or anything, put it in there. We're always looking for your ideas. We always want to kind of grow this. We do have to be careful because we are a smaller team. We don't want to overload ourselves on things. But any ideas you have, please share them. We'll take notes take notes on them, and we'll look at it. So
yeah, that's why this is not overly snazzy to start, because we're like, let's see how it goes.
Exactly.
So, okay.
The same way we went with the Filament Company's database. So next topic. So this is the topic I think everybody is actually here for because of Clockspring. You know, I'm really excited to talk to him tonight. Now, I am going to kind of let Courtney and him run with it. I find that if I let Courtney and him run, we'll probably get all the answers to everything that we need. We do have some basic questions that we are going to ask. But if you have questions, put them in the chat room. I'm going to hold them till later. And at the end, we're going to have a specific question time for the chat room that we will go through. And hey, we've got another guest in here.
Hey.
Oh my God.
So this is my daughter Reese, and she has a question for Clockspring.
Clockspring, why is your name Clockspring?
I'm sorry to say that it was entirely random, and when I made that up, it had nothing to do with 3D printing. I needed a login for something, some other website. I don't even remember what it was, and I just thought, well, that's easy to spell and easy to remember. I'll just use that. And then I was uploading a model on my mini factory, and I needed a login. It's like, I'll just use that, and that's why. And it's just stuck around. So it was just one of these things where my only real requirement was that it be something that was easy to spell, that nobody would have trouble with, but it had absolutely no meaning beyond, oh, I like the sound of that. It sounds kind of mechanical. And that's it. That's the entire story.
I love it. It's great.
I'm glad you do. Thank you.
I love it too. I think it works well. So this is my daughter Reese, and she's been on Filament Stories sometimes. Do you have any other questions for Clockspring?
You're put on the spot now.
Yeah, I know. You've heard me talk about him. Weird.
Okay, yeah, that's true. You talk about him a lot.
I know, I'm busted.
I want to know, Clockspring, do you know why she talks about you a lot? Can you guess?
Why?
What?
Because
I want to know the
just
answer.
prints all of my things, and it's like, oh my God, it's another model that doesn't work.
Wait, do you know why?
No.
Oh, do you want to know? Here, wait, let me show you some models. Do you remember the giant umbrella?
Oh, yeah, I remember this
That's
one.
Here, hold it there and open it. Push up. Ta-da!
I thought this model was really cool.
Thank you. That's one of these ones that it was definitely it was a challenge, and there were so many versions trying to get it right, so little bits wouldn't get caught on other bits and so on. And it's one of these things I thought no one's ever going to print this, but people seem to.
You seem to think about that. You seem to think that about a lot of your prints. Nobody's ever going to print this.
Oh, well, see, there's also the opposite. Occasionally there'll be that thing that you've just poured your heart and soul into, and you think everyone will love this, and no one cares.
Yeah.
But everyone goes nuts over the ice cream print that took you an hour to design, not the thing that took a month of hard work.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you want to call that one?
What do we got, Courtney?
Here.
Ooh.
Show it on camera.
What do you call this one, Reese?
I was going to ask. Trampoline. Right? It is a trampoline. I have to admit, I've completely forgotten what that was called.
Oh, I can't move back and forth because of and actually, normally this would be one color, but I had fun.
Tessellate or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, I had fun with multicolor on that.
That's all right.
Do you? Oh, you have a favorite model of his, I bet.
Oh, yes, I do.
You do?
And I don't have that one here.
Hold on. Maybe I should.
What is it?
Should I go get it?
Go get it. Go get
Okay.
she'll go get it and come back.
I'm really
Okay, and then
curious
we can be on with the
Okay.
show. On with the show. Okay. What
On
was
with the
what
show.
did we
Tessellator tray. Thank you, Chris.
Okay, so we got the name. So the name was a question, and then so,
that was like really boring. We have bonus.
Okay,
we have
so
bonus time for
anyway.
that.
I know. So, you know, one of the things I've always liked about your designs and is just the over engineering. You know, I'm a steampunk guy. I love lots of pipes and intricate, and your designs really attracted me because they just have that over engineered, over whatever quality you want to call it. Where does that come from? Does that just happen as you go, or is that a style that you're trying to achieve?
It's well, I wouldn't say it's a style necessarily. I think style just kind of comes out of the things you explore and develops. You know, like you were saying, like you can pick someone's, a style that someone has, but no, it's entirely intentional. I would say that generally, like, I really appreciate abstraction and simplicity, and I really, I like just getting to the core of what's important in something, and over engineering is the absolute opposite of that. So, it's an intentional, like, how can I make this more complicated than it needs to be? How can I deliberately take something that's, say, a hinge and instead make it a series of half a dozen gears to perform the same task, and unnecessarily in a complicated way. And that in itself is the challenge. It's just like, how can I take something that is simple in concept and completely complicated, which I love, and that adds its own problems itself, because it's not always difficult to make something simple. But so I'm now distracted by the shiny things that Courtney's moving around.
I know, right? Well, one of my favorite ones has always been this one. I love.
That's actually that's a good example of the opposite. So the first time that I tried to make a 3D printed place collider cycle like that, it was much more complicated, and it was really just me going, how can I make this work at all? And that developed through, there was that version, there was another version that was bolted together with planetary gearing, and then that was like the end result of simplifying it all and trying to get it to be as simple as it could be and still be functional. And then I had to put some hexagons and things in there. But that's an example of something that's it looks over-engineered, but it's really just simplified to the point of being easier to print and just more reliable. And now Reese is back.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hello.
What have you got? Oh my God! I know that.
Oh my gosh! Yes.
I totally made that one for you. You requested something. I don't remember exactly what it was.
Hold it up and demonstrate it. You know exactly why.
Well, so I wanted one because I always thought they were cool for a toy I had, actually. And
you lost the one.
I lost it, and so
these
have been like great playing with that toy.
So I'm gonna move it over here. You had, you didn't give her exactly what she wanted. You had said a trash can with the lid that opens and swings, and you got that. But then you wanted wheels. He did not give you wheels. Do you remember you asked for wheels?
Mom, you're pronouncing it wheels.
Did I forget wheels? Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I kind of like it better without wheels now that it's like here.
I said it wrong. I'm sorry. My son says I have pronounced it. My husband says that too. I apparently say wh. I don't do the W correct.
You're supposed to sing it like that, apparently. Like a California.
Get in here. Come in here.
No, I'm gonna
Just own it.
Come on
and
in.
just
All right. My son has gone shy. Okay, bye. So but I tell you what, this was so much fun because you were I was texting you and you yelled down the stairs, Mom, can you ask Clockspring if he will make? And I was like, hey, my daughter asked for this. Just kind of joking. She's lost it with her recycle truck toy. This is years ago, right? You guys,
like years ago.
if you are a member of the
long time ago.
Patreon, yeah, you'll remember when this came out. And then it was sometime, and then out of the blue, you said, okay, so I've got that model for your daughter, and I was like, is this what she asked for? And so many people printed this, and I just had the biggest smile on my face when I saw it, because it really is a fun model.
Yeah,
That was
I
lots
saw
of fun.
acorns in that one.
Yeah, and it scales down. Anyway,
Oh my
okay.
God, it's adorable.
It's a tiny one. Oh, this
Cool.
was
That's
this
awesome.
was I
Wait.
had it, and you said, and I said, well, I finished it. It works well. And you were like, what do you mean you finished printing it? I haven't printed it yet. And I was like, oh, well, I printed it at 30%, which is how I beat you printing it. But yeah, 30%, it prints great.
But there are plenty of times when you
I printed a lot of those.
my stuff before I do.
Yeah.
And you're
Well,
like,
and there are a lot
this
of
didn't
those
work
in
how
my
I
niece's
planned
doll.
it.
And your niece's where?
My niece's doll houses. A lot of those for trash cans in the little bedrooms and the doll houses. I printed a bunch of them at like 30%. They love them. They love them.
Akuma Mods,
So we'll look.
what's up? And I see RC Maniac said he's behind. He's going to come back to the stream. I want to make sure we're going to. Oh, the Tesslator tray. Oh,
Yes.
That was my husband.
That was
It's like, oh, somebody knew the
So,
name.
well, look, one thing that's always intrigued me, especially like so many of us here, even in the chat room, we know each other online, right? That's how we've met. That's how we know each other. Courtney was talking earlier, kind of like the only reason we knew what Sven looked like was the picture, but
Yep.
it's really neat sometimes to watch people get together. And speaking of watching people get together, I have a video I want to show really quick.
With Filament Stories, I'm here at the East Coast Rep Rap Festival, and I'm with
Clockspring3D from
got it.
Brisbane.
We got it.
Yes.
oh, we can't even mess
We even
that up
practiced
right.
that, and we didn't get it
practiced
right.
getting it wrong.
Yeah.
Let's do it again. Keep going.
Yes. Do it again.
No, it's from the beginning.
What? Oh,
from the
from the-
top.
okay.
From the top. I'm Courtney with Filament Stories at the East Coast Rep Rap Festival, and Can we start
Can
over?
you keep that in and just beep it if you need to? Because
Yeah,
that was great.
okay. I'm Courtney with Filament Stories. I'm here in Bel Air, Maryland at the East Coast Rep Rap Festival, and I am with
Clockspring3D from Brisbane.
from Brisbane.
I've come all the way here to see you
and everybody else.
and everyone else. I've met so
everyone-
many wonderful people.
It is amazing. We've met amazing people that I've seen before, that I'm meeting again, new people. I am so excited that I had an opportunity to meet. And what did you think about this festival?
It's so much more energetic than I realized. Everyone's so passionate, so excited.
It
It's
really
amazing.
is. It is. I don't want to say it's like a 3D printing drug, but it is. It's like
It
once
is.
you come once, you're like, I must come back, because it is so much fun to meet people and to see so many things to see. If you have an opportunity to come to any of the Rap Rap festivals or a Maker Fair, I highly recommend it, because basically it's your people. That's what's so great. This is our people.
Absolutely.
And I love it.
is.
And at the end of the weekend, I'm always sad because I have to go home.
I know, I don't want to go.
I know, right? Anyway, I'm really happy to have met you, because we worked together for a number of years and have never met.
It's amazing.
We actually never even talked on the phone.
I know.
All we've ever done is see little letters. And there's a tiny little bit. In fact, this is you, because there's a little picture of you wearing a black t-shirt. And in my mind, you've always worn a black t-shirt every day.
Oh, no, I'm doing this pose.
That pose. Yep.
That's fun.
It's lovely to meet you. All right, folks. We'll see you at the next time we make a video. Woo, it's been a tiring weekend.
How could you keep that from me?
I love that.
I haven't seen that until tonight.
It is
this
so
from
true
me?
about like it's your people,
Also-
right? It's like, yes, this is my people.
If you have the opportunity. I had the opportunity and you didn't let me come.
You didn't want to come.
Uh-oh.
All right,
Uh-oh.
coming next year. Uh-oh.
Yeah, Renata, come next
We're
year.
going to
Come
Colorado.
next year, Renata.
Yes, the Rocky Mountain Rep Rap Festival. That was actually a lot of fun. Ramurf. We're not quite sure how to pronounce it. RMRRF. But yeah, I went,
Rumurf.
loved it, had a great time.
Rumurf.
And JC, Asylum, you and I were very, we lost our voices. And I learned about
yes,
something.
we did.
Right? I learned about something. We went to Starbucks to get coffee, and you said, "Oh, we should get a medicine ball." And I was like, "What?" So it's not medicine or a ball, but what is it? Is it the citrus
Or a
mint?
medicine ball.
Or either, right? It's just
Yeah.
honey
Yeah.
and mint and citrus
Honey,
tea,
citrus, mint
and it's just
tea.
oh, it's really good. And yeah, then we were able to talk. Thank you for coming and joining us.
You're welcome.
Awesome.
Okay.
But yeah,
Are we,
your
I
people,
don't know
like
where
you were
we are
saying,
time-wise.
Clockspring.
That was a funny video.
You're good. I'm
Nothing
watching.
thinking.
I'm
I
watching.
think
We're in a good spot.
Okay. Bye. Thank you for coming, Reese. Always good to see
Thank you, Reese. Good to see you.
Oh, you better take your models.
See ya,
Take your
Miss
model.
Filament Stories
And
friends.
that has been on her nightstand ever since it's been printed, aside from when
That's
it had
adorable.
acorns
Oh, wow.
and stuff in it.
Oh,
Yep.
wow. That's awesome. We had talked more about your people, Clockspring. You were about to say something about your people, and I'm going to show some of your models. Well,
yeah, look, it's just that certainly resonated what Courtney said in that clip, which I had completely forgotten we even recorded. But yeah, that environment, it is just all of these excited people who are all just so, everyone's interesting and everyone's interested in everyone else, and it's just it was such a fun, positive, exciting place to be, and just everyone was just nerding out about everything, and what is Courtney doing? But yeah, it's
she's doing what Courtney does.
Just like we were saying, that I don't think I was really prepared for just how much fun it was. Just everything was fun, and it was just everything was overwhelmingly exciting, stuff going on everywhere, and yeah, and you're right, it just makes you want to go back, which I fully intend to. It's funny, my kids say they'll come next time, but then they'll ditch me and go to Disneyland or something instead.
I honestly don't. I think my daughter at the time, I'm like, "Do you want to go?" And she was like, "No." But I think she does. Oh, look, there it is, popped up. I'm excited that she would want to come, because I would love to have my children come.
Yeah,
it's and it's.
I don't know about this.
About what? What?
Keep going. You finish your statement, and then I'm going to keep us going on questions.
Oh, okay. No, you just go to your question now, because we're just going to be sitting there thinking, what's the question?
Yeah.
What was I about to say? I know, right? This is how I found you, Clockspring. I found you through the torture toaster. It came out. I was like, oh, that's so awesome. And I printed it, and I had trouble, and then I figured it out. And that's when I became like this calibration guy. And all I love to do is calibrate printers now because of this torture toaster. But so what was the brainchild for this thing?
This is a really good example of I mean, I like glorifying the mundane, I guess. I tried to think of something that was, as the opposite of overblown, and I like things that are, self-deprecating humor is very Australian, and there's like, okay, we need some kind of model, because the guys on Hot Mates had challenged me to make something. I was like, okay, what is like the least impressive topic we could attack? And I came up a toaster. It's and then it was like, okay, now how can we completely overcomplicate a toaster? And that's where it ended up. It went through a lot of versions of. Yeah, because there's a lot going on in there. You've got the pop-up bit in the middle, and then there's then I thought, well, I should actually make some calibration bits, but I don't want to just like put them out on the side. So suddenly there's doors and there's latches and so on. But yeah, it was really just from a core of how can we make something that's very ordinary, and then just make that ordinary thing unnecessarily detailed.
And then I think one of your most popular ones, and somebody's actually even said it in the room already, was this.
So this is a really funny one. Like I always say, so I'm going to step back. My tangent, come back to this, but there's always that thought, like as a creator, just like, do you do just what's popular? But that implies that you have any idea what will be popular. I mean, there's some things with obvious trends and so on, but in terms of the things I do, this model started out as a slightly modified version of this that took up a bit more space. But I put it in my experiments folder on Dropbox for my patrons, because I thought nobody is going to print this thing. And then somebody eventually encouraged me to, tidy it up a bit and make it so it would print on a more normal size printer. And so it originally had 2 of those gears. It only needed 1, and I tidied it up. And again, this thing was an experiment. I thought nobody would print. And hey, look, that's the other version. But yeah, it's I'd forgotten it had a split tray as well. But yeah, so this was one of these things where I thought, this is just ridiculous, but I'll put it out there. And I would never have guessed that it would be a favorite, but so it seems it is.
Yeah, definitely. I have them all over my home.
Yeah. It's funny, the things that we actually end up using ourselves. I have one sitting in the kitchen for when I'm doing washing up and so on. But likewise,
do you have a favorite?
My favorite's always the last interesting thing I worked on. I have fond memories of many things, but I'm always just moving on to the next thing. It's all about. I mean, I'm in it for the challenge. I'm in it for finding inspiration and finding solving problems and doing interesting things. And it's the end result. It needs to be good, but then it's like, move on to the next thing, put that aside.
Right.
Oh, what's Courtney got there?
Huh? Well, I was going to say,
I don't know. What does Courtney have there?
Oh, I have donuts.
Donuts.
Yeah, I was going to say, your design process, and I am so confused with the camera. Someone just flushed the toilet. Guys, we're in my mechanical room, and when I stand here and we're filming, and if the toilet flushes, it's right there, and we have to stop filming. So anyway, in case you're wondering, somebody just flushed the toilet. Yeah.
White noise generator.
So, yeah, your design process, I find, I can't do it, is really interesting, because do you remember where you were when you were designing this?
I do. I was in a hotel room far from home, and I didn't have a printer, and I was sending you endless versions of that over the space of a week, and you were test printing them all and sending videos and showing me how things were going. But I'm interested to hear what your thoughts were on how that went.
What
you're saying, the design process?
No, I was going to say, it's just been very interesting, because we've worked together for a number of years, and there were a few iterations of this, and mostly because you had this like wibbledy, and so you needed it to be able to be, how do you take this off and then be able to get it to go back in? Anyway, there were some versions of this, but for instance, I think you were also doing this one at the same time. Is that right?
Oh, no, you're
positive. Was it this one?
Oh, wow. I've never printed that one.
Where'd that come from? And then there were, I think it was this
two
one.
versions of that. There was the magnetic one, and I think a bolt one.
There's the magnetic one, and then the one that, and this is the magnetic one. And somebody asked you to make a lunchbox, and they wanted a small lunchbox. I think that's what this was. So but this is where I just want to talk about your ability to envision things in 3D. The donut had some iterations, right? But this one, in my job, I feel like I have to work really hard to make sure I show stuff. And there was one little spot, and it was one little angle, and you were like, oh, how could I have missed that? Because it was like not quite the right overhang. I mean, I was like, it might not have been this one. It was close. And I was like, and then I was like, so then we print another version. But yeah, but you pretty much nailed this, like iteration 1.
Sometimes it just works out that way.
Sometimes it just works out, right? But then sometimes.
Sorry, as always, we're talking over the top of each other. But I was just going to say, but yeah, sometimes it works out like that. And it tends to be not necessarily the technical problems like overhangs and things. I mean, sometimes they get missed and I have to go back and fix them, but it can often be, especially when the two of us are working together, you'll print something and say, oh, but have you thought about this? And it's like, oh, no, I hadn't. And suddenly it's off on a tangent and the whole thing changes. And that's a much more common scenario for things, going through endless iterations. It's that back and forth where, you give me this different perspective, and it's just, oh, that's interesting.
Do you remember this?
No. What was that?
The gluggle jug.
Oh wow, that was an early version.
This is the first one. So Steve Mold put a video out, and somebody was like, have you thought about doing anything? And so the point was, you put water in it, and you're trying to get it to make noise. And so this was that's beautiful filament, JC. Oh my gosh, that's gorgeous. Nice. So yeah, this was the first iteration, and it kind of worked. And then you went here, which is an entirely different visual.
Oh, wow.
So this is where the water went in, and it would trap over here. And sure enough, it would go glug, glug, glug. It would do the gluggle jugging, but it just wasn't.
It wasn't enough.
It wasn't what you were looking for. And so this was the final one, right? Which it's entirely different, but it works really well. So this was an example of like 3 stages where you completely, I found this and I was like, it's the letter J. Oh no, it's because the whole point of this was, does it work?
Yeah.
And it worked. Yeah. Air gets trapped here and then it makes that little noise. And then you said, let me make it pretty. But this just didn't have, he didn't say that. That was what we've never
Did
talked
he say it in the sexy voice? Let me make it pretty.
Make it pretty. Yeah. Anyway, so this was just an interesting thing, but this is actually really nice. And you can't tell, you're like here, and then it makes a noise. Anyway, but yeah, so it's been, sometimes you just like, other times you're like, yeah, like that. Sometimes you send a model and I'm like, well, I printed it. It's perfect.
But it's totally right. There's those things like that where it's like, I don't know what I'm doing. Let's see how it goes.
So was this like a Christmas gift for a kid or something? Where did this
I think
from?
I just wanted to make a rocket. I think because who doesn't like rockets and steampunky kind of detail?
I love that model.
This is an awesome model. Matter of fact, we had some fun with this model. And,
I don't remember. I know what you're going to do. I don't remember how this actually went.
I know.
Should I be ashamed?
I don't know how. I remember it. I know.
I'm going to show it.
All right, go for it.
And so give me a second. Let me get it up here. And here we go.
Gentlemen, the race of a lifetime. Can Courtney beat Clockspring at putting together his own model? The rules are, there are no rules. Cheating is allowed. Go.
Hi, I'm Courtney, and this is Filament Stories. And I wanted to ask Clockspring some. I don't know how this goes together.
I'd forgotten. Wait, then
I don't.
Is that like that?
Anyway,
yes.
so
yes.
in any case, Clockspring, you have come all the way from. You've come all the way from Brisbane, Australia, right?
That's even the correct pronunciation.
I said it. It's right.
Yeah.
And what have you come here for?
I came here for this particular contest. Like this is, what's that? Oh, that's the side thingy.
Wait,
you have
the wrong color.
Well, that's a matter of perspective.
And how does this work?
Which bit are you up to?
Oh, anyway.
Oh, I was trying to steal all your little attachment parts.
I know, right? You don't have no
I was supposed to ask you questions.
You did say there were no rules.
I said cheating is allowed. Clockspring is the winner.
Not morally.
I totally forgot.
Not morally, indeed.
I completely forgot. I knew I lost.
I was saying before.
JC, you printed those models. I actually didn't. I never printed that one. I ran out of time.
Right.
Really?
I printed
that was the first time I ever put it together. Yeah.
Yeah. I printed it. I was actually at Courtney's house. We were working on a project together. And so I got all of her printers running and just printed those out really quick and then kept them. And Chris and I sprung it on y'all kind of at the end of Earth.
I did remember because we were giving away all of these prints. Like there was this big rack with all of these prints with, please take one. And it was like, don't give those ones away. Keep those ones. We keep those ones.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is I gave all my Clockspring prints away, but you see how many that I'm showing off tonight. That kind of shows you like the printing has resumed. We're good on time. We're doing well. We're almost to the end. We're getting close.
Wait, I have
got about 10 minutes left.
Yeah.
Go for it.
It depends on where you saw the video, because we did 2 videos, one for YouTube, because on YouTube we can say like here on YouTube, and everyone else we have to say come see it. But if you were on YouTube, I think I said ask Clockspring why this is called Rotato Potato. You remember that?
I can't remember if that was you.
This
or
is
me.
it.
Oh, yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes we get pretty silly. And this is a really interesting model. I mean, I was so excited about this model because this one did go through some iterations, because you were trying to figure out how to have, so the door opens and then the tray comes out, right? And it's got all these compartments. So, the question is, it prints like this on the printer, and you were trying to figure out how could the trays be configured? Could it have horizontal lines? Anyway, there were just so many. And then, of course, once you got mechanically working, then you began to decorate. And actually, you sort of decorated all throughout, right?
In fact, it's funny thing was that the absolute most difficult part of that design was working out how to have a wall that shielded the tray so that things couldn't fall in behind when you pulled the tray out. So if you had pens or something in the bottom there, just stopping things from falling in the back. That took probably longer than the entire rest of the design. But that one was hovering around for a long time because I just wasn't happy with it until I could prevent that, because it completely precluded you actually using that bottom bit.
Oh, I see. Okay, so sorry, I can't do it. So you have something here. So if whatever you have down here doesn't fall behind. Oh, yes, I remember. Oh, my angling is terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, the level that everything's on, like the lid needs to be able to fold in, and so you can't just have a wall that goes down to the bed.
And it has to work like this.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this
the tray slightly open and it prints.
And it is really funny because Rotato Potato is the stupidest name. And I think we just got silly at one point and we're calling it that. But I have no idea what it's actually called. No idea.
No. That one was, what did it end up being called? Because it was Rotato Potato that sat there for like a year or two, literally.
Oh, you put it aside and then came back to it.
Yeah.
And I was sad because I was like, bring Rotato Potato. That people will love it. And then you had like a wide one, and you could put glasses in it. You had all kinds of variation in a short one.
The little one's my favorite.
Subatomic dice depository.
That's
subatomic dice depository. So,
but yeah, that one.
And it's over on, and I'm going to keep putting that up. It's over on printables.com.
Yeah, that was one where originally it had that handle had a gear that turned like a rack gear. Yeah, so it was quite different the way it closed, but in the intervening time, I'd developed this other approach of being able to screw things into a ledge, and that worked much more robustly, which is good when you want to keep dice in something. You don't want the lid to come open.
This was fun. It should have been the Dice-O-Matic. I don't know. But anyway, how in the world we got it called a Rotato Potato? Because normally we call it, if we're trying, because there's this whole, it should have a name that befits the model and is also catchy. And Rotato Potato was just dumb. But anyway, it was fun.
Like a toaster, right?
I like it. I like it.
These are the appealing things.
I know.
I'm gonna keep pushing. We got just a few more minutes. But anyway, so one of the characteristics of many of your models is the screw. Like something screws into something, or it holds as a lid, or you always do that. But then I think it was right after I joined, you started using magnets. Now this is a print. This is your eyeglass holder that you did. And it's a really, really nice little eyeglass holder. What got you on magnets?
Courtney got me in magnets, especially because she has an abundant supply of magnets herself, and so she and I talked about, because one thing that I wanted was to have a standard magnet size. If I was going to incorporate magnets into models, then I didn't want different models to have different magnet sizes because it's a lot easier and cheaper to just buy a whole bunch of magnets, off eBay or whatever, and than it is to have to go and source individual things. So those 6x3 cylindrical magnets are a really good middle ground. They're relatively small, but they're strong enough that they work really well for most things, and you can double them up if you need be. But it's generally not too hard to incorporate them into a design where they're called for. But the magnets open up a whole different realm of design constraints and interesting things. Like, I remember some of my earlier ones just had magnets, face on and then pulling away. But that, of course, means you're risking the strength of the glue, the adhesive that you've used to put them in. So then it was like, make them so they slide instead. And then it was like, well, what if instead of having the magnets hold things shut, you can have some other mechanism that mechanically holds things shut, but the magnets hold it in that position. So things like the catalyst box or catalyst something, where a lid went in and twisted slightly, and then magnets held it like that. So the magnets stop it coming undone, but they aren't actually the thing that's resisting the force. Like the print itself is resisting the force because it's like there's a lid, kind of like a very small screw, but the magnets are stopping it from just rotating slightly and falling open. So the magnets just opened up this whole other avenue of like, oh, what are these other things that we can consider now? Which is, I mean, that's what it's all about, right? It's just like there's a whole new world to explore.
And then I think we have one more question, and then I'm going to open it up to the chat room real quick. Chat, start putting your questions if you have questions in here, but I can see what Courtney's preparing to do, and I'm going to kind of start pulling down some things myself because our last, I never turned my lights on. Oh, well. Our last question, Courtney, you go for it.
Do you have a lot of flowers?
Do I have a lot of flowers?
No, Clockspring, because he makes all these vases.
I know.
So once upon a time, I used to take. See that. That's a good idea. I did have some I guess dried things, so like not exactly flowers, but just something sort of organic and botanical that I would sometimes take photos with vases having those things in. But these days, I just lean them over and so on instead. But I don't have a lot of flowers. Also, my daughter wanted a vase the other day. Vase, and just do we have one? Not a 3D printed one. So,
why are you obsessed with vase mode?
Yeah, what is the lure?
Well, it's the same thing as we were just saying with magnets. It's constraints, and you remember from my talk at Earth, constraints are a wonderful thing. So a lot of stuff in designing for 3D printing involves being conscious of the limitations of the technology and designing so that things can be as practical as possible, as reliable to print as possible, and so on, based on the constraints of the technology. And vase mode has its own particular constraints. So you've got the issues of having very thin walls. You've got flexibility, and if you want to not have flexibility, then you've got to design for that. You've got your overhang angles are much more constrained because the moment you're too overhung, and that's either going in, going out, whatever, it all falls apart, because if you're not overlapping enough, you've got nothing because it's only one wall. And that's it's its own particular set of challenges that I really like. And I guess the point of that talk was that at some point these things feel like challenges to overcome, but eventually they become inspiring in their own right. You look at these things and the consequences of these sorts of constraints, and those in themselves become inspiring, and those things generate ideas themselves.
I
that's
agree.
True. You're gonna say, are you reading the comments as well?
Yeah, with Pezliz, it's a great way to show off filament. And
so true, because they're all clean.
Yes, they're beautiful. And I was doing a lot for a while, and I realized, because our engagement was dropping off, and I realized that while I find them exciting. It wasn't as interesting as, you know, some of the other prints. And so anyway, I was like, oh, I got to do not so many vases, vases. But you are right. There are things about making a successful vase. Like, for instance, maybe it was this one or this, what is it called? This is like your most famous one ever. People love this one.
Is that a reciprocal?
Reciprocal. Yeah, reciprocal.
Yes,
so,
reciprocal.
So there has been some of them, and I'll print it, and the bottom will just drop off, right? And in the bottom, I'm like, my bottom fell off, and yours did too. And then you'll make some little change, and the bottom is like, yeah. So really interesting things. But yeah, and then some. I thought I had the one that you had that was it looked like a globe sort of, but you had patterns on the inside.
Yes, Mariner vase. I remember some of the names.
Mariner. I was going to say it was a nautical something. Mariner.
Yes, it had the like tentacly kind of patterns on the inside. Yeah.
Yes, tentacly. Yes. Oh, Bernard. Yes. We're all obsessed. You are among good company. You are among good company with obsessed.
I'm just answering anything that's reciprocal vase.
Sorry, I'm looking at stuff. Yeah, and then sometimes you'll do something like you'll do let me find the little dot vase, right? Because these have these little dots in them. This happens to be a multi-material one, right? But and then I was printing it with filament that changed. But yeah, little dots. And then somebody was like, wait, can you have it with holes in it so that I can put what is this stuff? Oh, come
liquids.
On. No, that keeps it dry. Why can't I think? Desiccant. I could think of desiccant in it. And then you did that. And then you were like, hold on, I'll do them in vase mode, right? And so it's just been, and I picked these up today and I was like, is it vase mode or is it real? Yeah. But you have just done, and again, this little guy here with all these wonderful bubbles, but it's so sturdy because you've got bubbles in, bubbles out, right? I just love the way you come up with these ideas.
Well, sometimes it's just a matter of just having no ideas and just sitting down and doing things leads to ideas. I'm a firm believer in, you know, don't wait until there are ideas. Just do things and be active. And oh my God, you got that one.
You messaged me. You were like, this was an idea. You were like, I'm in a hotel. And what was it? You were like, I'm in a hotel and I'm looking at these things. I'm going back to design one.
Yeah.
And it's great.
I love the shape. That's the thing. Like, it's not the fact that I wanted to make a thing that looked like one of those tubes. It was just that I loved that shape where it went from round to that sort of tapered flat top. It's just, I want to make that shape. And that's sometimes what it's about. Just like, I want to explore a particular shape or a particular type of movement in a articulated model. And then it becomes like, I'm going to build something around it because it needs to have a form. You know, this needs to be a thing. It can't just be a concept. Abstractions don't work when it has to be a concrete thing. But that's where a lot of ideas come from. Just like, I really want to explore, you know, a shape or a line or a particular proportion of thickness on something. And 3D printing lets us do that.
So we got a couple more questions. And then, first of all, you have Patreon, you have Printables clubs. Do you feel an obligation? You've got to go back and work, or do you like, I need to get home because I have ideas?
I mean, it's a bit of both. So thing is, like, I worked out long ago, I work best under pressure. So I apply pressure to myself. So, you know, I absolutely feel an obligation and a pressure to, you know, to be doing things all the time. But when I look back, I realized that was the case before I was doing 3D printing as well. You know, I always feel like this obligation to myself to be busy, to be, you know, not wasting time. You know, the world is interesting and I like doing interesting things. So, you know, so the answer is yes, but it's self-inflicted.
So it's a combination.
I
saw Raybert just said hi. He's one of our friends. He is out in the area for the Rocky Mountain Rep Rap Festival. If you guys are going to be there next year, hopefully we'll see Raybert. After he went to the Rocky Mountain Rep Rap Festival last year, and then he went back and bought a 3D printer. That Very powerful, nice. Right?
Yep. That's awesome. That is awesome.
I did
Well,
want
look,
to say something.
we're going to
You
come to
have,
the end here. Oh, go ahead.
Well, let me do one more thing.
Go ahead.
You have printables clubs and you have Patreon, but you have on My Mini Factory, I think over 100 models that are free, and they're like not crappy models. They're great models. So if you want to go check his stuff out, he's got good stuff. I've printed them all.
No.
What can I say?
Very good public models.
Yeah.
Okay.
Casey, Kevin. Hi, Kevin.
I'm finding out. I have a lot more I need to find.
And it's so true. You did say that Courtney and I would probably just talk for 3 hours if you didn't keep us on track, and that's very true.
It's true. It's true.
I was just going to say that, but before I got into any kind of Patreon style, subscription thing, it was just like, can I keep up this pace? So it was just like, all right, I'm going to start just like making sure I do things on schedule. But I did that for a few months until actually it was Photos Mint who said, just hurry up and do it. Yes, you've been putting these models out for years now. Just do it.
I look back at the models that you've had from them, and you still have some really excellent models. Now, you'll say that they aren't up to the same level of, but you're able to see that. To me, I just think they're great.
And I feel like that's natural anyway. Like you want to, I think you want to be looking back at your past efforts and thinking, oh, I do better now, because otherwise, it suggests you haven't like improved and evolved. So it doesn't mean that I don't have fond memories of those things, but it's like, oh, I could make that more complicated now. This is all these things that you learn along the way that you can just apply to the next problem, and
Well, we need to go, but that was the impetus of this donut. You had a picture of something, and on your desk was a 3D printed donut. And I was like, I haven't seen that model. Where's that model? I want to print it. And you said, oh, that's bad. I'll have to redo it. And then this came out of it.
I have to admit, like I've been moving. I started moving some of the free models over from My Mini Factory to printables as free models, and there's a couple that I rebuilt along the way. It's like, this should be quick, and then it's like 6 hours later, I've just reconstructed it, and mate, it's like, this is much better now. It's not an efficient process. Like that what's that bowl thing that's just the crisscross big chunky lines that was inspired.
Oh wait,
by
I have it here. Hold on.
Yeah,
this one.
No. It's much simpler than that. It's a very old.
Oh, okay.
Hang on.
I don't know that one.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
The version that's up on printables now. It has smoothed, rounded bits that probably aren't obvious from a distance, but up close, it's just a bit more refined. Yeah. So
this is just colored.
That's awesome.
Moving things across has been a bit lengthy because I can't resist doing that. Like the original one was Tinkercad, and there's like, well, there's an integration path directly there to get into Fusion. So it's like into Fusion and like adjust all the things. And
this hold on, this model looks really pretty.
That one.
Please rebuild this or don't print it. It's awful. Do you remember that? Get the tolerances of because it's these little.
That was a tough one.
Don't print it as is, or let Clockspring know when it's on printables. I mean, I don't mean to say that in a bad way.
No.
I know
totally
really,
agree.
it is a bit of a trick to get the tolerances right. I ended up reprinting, I think, the connector pieces like 4 times to make them fatter or bigger or something, and then I put a failed print in it.
Oh, I like that. That's quite good.
Like I couldn't throw it away because it was too nice. Remember, you did all the Christmas geometric, shapes, and it was half pretty. And then I put it.
Now that's actually a good segue because I know that JC's trying to wrap this up.
Oh yeah, we've got to go.
Maybe you should ask the leading question.
Oh yeah,
questions. There we go. I was working towards the leading question of, hey, Clockspring, do you have anything big coming up soon?
Oh, well, funny you should say that because physically big. This is just imminent for release. But so I pulled this finished printing just before we started talking, and I've got this massive layer shift in there. It is just this is like half a kilo of filament. It is just I don't often get these kind of failures these days.
Does it work?
Well,
does it work?
Here's the earlier version that. it's printed in a much less interesting filament. But it's funny
beautiful.
What you said before, Courtney, about me getting caught up in tiny little things.
Yeah.
If you look at, so this prints this way down, and if we look really close in there, it's not even actually a flaw, but this bit here, I just didn't like the reliability. Printed as a little island. So
wait a minute. Wait, mine, I don't know.
No. So this one, you'll see it's a square kind of connection, just so that it wouldn't be this one little island that could come off the bed. And that was the only change I made. So it's like, I need to reprint this because I always feel I need to test print everything. So like tiny change. It's like, nope. So yes, anyway. So this will be published soon, but I do need to successfully print it. And this thing is taking like 17 hours to print at the moment.
So that's one coming out soon, guys. Look
wait,
for that.
hold on.
Yeah.
This really is one of your massive over engineers, because it does all of that. And then you had that nice little tiny compartment.
Yes, so
you could put a
technically,
ring in there. You know what?
It is.
You could put a really nice ring or some jewelry in there.
Or a bunch of dice.
That was actually how I gave my my now wife her engagement ring, because my brother's a jeweler, and so he made the thing, and she had worked with him to design it. But when I finally got it, I put it into a 3D printed box that it was just a model I was test printing, knowing that she would come along and open it up. And
oh, that's awesome.
Oh,
awesome. Somebody's wondering if that comes in fidget size, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
I do have a spool. Actually, I have a spool down there. I'm going to grab it over here because this was a print in one of the filaments that I made with Alex at Protopasta, and this one was like a multicolored gray silver.
Oh, make him big. Make him big.
Okay. I want to make it big.
So I've forgotten what your question was that prompted me to go grab this. But,
is it fidget size? Fidget size?
No, but this is 80%, I think. But that's because I printed it on a smaller printer, and that wouldn't fit at full size.
So how much filament are we talking about on this print? I'm feeling we're like at half a kilo.
This was about 250
at least.
This is half a kilo. This one's half a kilo.
Yeah, this is half a kilo. So,
and the Kuma thinks it should be printed out in resin.
Ooh. I mean, I do have the reason that there's a resin printer sitting. Where are we? Over there. Was specifically because I was playing around with the idea of doing resin printed mechanical stuff, but whole world of complexity and potential failure there. So, anything that bends, anything that doesn't end up nice and precisely straight, just doesn't work at all. So that I wouldn't say it was a dead end, but it was very clear that there's a lot of considerations to be had resin printing that kind of stuff. And also, like when you've got you don't tend to print things flat, so you suddenly have things on angles, and that starts to interfere with all of the angles that you've got in the mechanical stuff as well. So getting a support arm in around a bunch of things to go and support a cog is not trivial.
So Akuma, I know, like for instance, I'm thinking some of the dragons, and those have a really big tolerance. Whereas, they're just two big things. Whereas you've got like 0.2 millimeter.
Oh, usually 0.5.
0.5. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right. So
we know the secret now.
Next stream, we're going to talk about it. Maybe.
Next stream, we're going to talk about what?
I don't know. Well, we need to talk about resinizing mechanical prints with the Kuma mods.
I will make a note on that. And I'll get with Akuma. Maybe we can find the time for him to come on. That'd be kind of fun.
Akuma, are you up for it?
So yeah, let me know if you're up for it, Akuma. So hey, Courtney, you have anything big coming up? I know we talked about the discounts page, but is there anything else you've got coming up? Anything that you're doing?
Going to Smurf.
You taking any
Anybody
trips
else going to
or
Smurf?
anything?
Yeah, I'm going
Smurf.
to Oxford,
Awesome.
San J. Mortimer Rep Festival. And I know there's some other people that'll be there. Oh, the locking coffin and that red black silk. I'm sorry, I just read that. Two great things. I loved that coffin. love the coffin. And then somebody tonight, right before this stream, messaged and said, do you know of a red black co-extrusion? And I was looking to see if yours was still available, Akuma. Yeah, Smurf. Anything you guys are doing coming up? Anybody going to Smurf?
I wish. That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, let us know. Yeah. So, guys, thank y'all so much for watching tonight. This has been really awesome. It's fun. I enjoy always wrangling Courtney and Clockspring and making sure that we keep moving ahead.
I know we're 14 minutes over.
Hey, it's all good. We're doing better than I thought we would do. So, guys, we got some possible guests coming up. You heard us just talking to Akuma, and I believe that Courtney's actually talking to Paraprint, potentially coming on the show soon. And
yes,
so
I think
we're excited about that.
And Pez lives.
Okay,
I'm next
awesome.
to Wexter. Yes. Sorry, I just saw what Pez Liz said. And by the way, wait, quick.
Awesome. So we're excited about that. So next month.
Huh?
Go ahead.
You broke
Go
up
ahead.
a bit there. Have we lost him?
Hold on.
I'm here.
Do you guys remember seeing these amazing dragons that like separated and then came together?
Oh,
right?
those are cool.
Pez Liz brought him over. His name is it? And she said, I want you to meet him. Thank you so much. What an amazing guy. What awesome models. And I'm so excited that people are printing them all over the place because this thing is just the coolest. All his stuff.
Is that the one that snaps
together?
Yes, it snaps together.
Why are you not doing it? Do it.
Oh, I'm going to snap it. Okay.
Snap.
So,
Yeah.
but Pez Liz brought him over. I always said, I've got to go do this as soon as I get home. Freaking month later, I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't done it. And I felt so bad. And then I was like, and then Uncle Jesse saw it and he was like, what? I'm putting that on the printer. Right. And so, right. And then it just, now it stays in this position, that one. Right. And you can do whatever you want. And then, right. And then you just bring it apart. What? How cool.
So
yeah. Mimetic 3D.
Really
Thank you. Thank you. What great. So I'm really excited that he's had a lot of interest in his models because they're free, right? All of his models are free. If you wanted to have a license to sell them, then you could join his thing. But thank you for introducing him, Pez Liz, because yeah. I was like, oh my gosh, I apologize. I'm like, I'm so sorry. It took me a month. And then it took him a while to respond. And then he was like, I don't check social media. And I was like, that's okay. I didn't check email either. So we were okay. We were fine. Anyway, thank you, Clockspring, for joining us.
Thank you for having
Yes,
me.
thank you so much. And so,
Thank you, audience,
like I was saying,
for dealing with us talking over each other like we are right now.
yes, we're really
Okay.
good at
Okay,
that. So
how
thank
do
you
you
so much for coming. Thank you for everybody. And thank you for all the people who are going to visit us in the future and watch this video. If you ever have any questions, just reach out to us on the website, filamentstories.com. Just something I want to make y'all aware of. We were talking about future things and big things this Tuesday night, 8 p.m. I have the privilege of unboxing all of the brand new colors from CookieCAD. They aren't even on the website to sell yet. And myself and Melissa will actually be on TikTok live, 8 p.m. Eastern, Tuesday night, unboxing all of the new colors. And guys, I got 2 boxes. There's like 12 to 15 different colors that we're going to be showing off. I'm really excited about them.
Of course, they're pretty. They're
It's
cookie.
CookieCAD.
I
They're gonna be
haven't even opened them yet. But I'm sure with their filaments, they're going to be beautiful.
Wait a minute, you haven't opened them? And you
I was
just
waiting to do it on
print
air.
them?
Oh wow.
Not yet.
That's some
got them in. I
self-restraint.
just got them in Saturday. So I'm trying.
Thank you, Resin Dragon.
So y'all can come watch it with me, but thank y'all so much for being here. Thank you, tons and tons and tons of bunches. Just remember that discount page is coming up. Watch the videos on Courtney's stuff. We'll be talking about that a lot during the holidays, I am sure. And anything else you want to say, Courtney?
I love Raybert's thing. May your prints be successful and your support's minimal. I love it.
There you go.
That's great.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Night, everyone. Thank you very much.
Good night.